really excited about combining inorganic and the organic fertilizers. It's something that's never been done on a broad scale before, and we see an opportunity to bring full soil health to the North American farmer.
I've analyzed over 1 million soil, water, and forage samples in 3 different states over the last 30 years, and I've worked with a lot of growers. Going through the universities and all these conferences, it was always synthetic is all you need, organic's all you need, and no one's ever put the two together in a product, and that's what we're doing today. When I was at Texas A&M, Norman Borlaug, he pulled me over and he said, "Larry, you fertilizer guys need to step it up. You're still back in the 50s. The genetics guys have done their job, but you need to make the fertilizer more efficient to feed the world." And so for all these years, I've been recommending our traditional NPK. That's what American Plant Food's done for 50 years. And I would have to recommend somebody else's other organic product to mix with it to make a superior product. The Sigma people, the AmAg people came to us with 2 different products. The AmAg is a natural mineral from Guatemala that's got organic binders in it that binds a natural mineral. Then we have the granulated poultry litter from Sigma.
You've got various formulations that are combinations in a homogeneous granular form that can be incorporated into the conventional blending program. The idea is to take conventional NPKs, your ammonium sulfates, your ureas, your phosphates, DAP, MAP, and potash, and then bring in the secondary micronutrients from Biosphere, and then blend that into your conventional program, giving a full portfolio to the grower's need and matching their requirements step for step.
The mixture of these 3 products we're calling a bridge product because we're connecting the synthetic with the organic. We're making a bridge to connect the best of both worlds.
This material is a 2,4,2 nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium fertilizer blend derived from pure organic material and also incorporates a unique blend of biological additives including bacteria, fungi and mycorrhizae, plus humic acid that is fully certified for organic fertilizer use for organic growers. The biological component is essentially a mixture of what we would call mycorrhizae, which are fungi that essentially infect plant roots to enhance nutrient availability, particularly for phosphorus availability and to some extent nitrogen and potassium. We also have a bacterial component that also enhances the solubility of those nutrients in the soil solution. Therefore, roots have a better chance of being able to grab a hold, if you will, of those nutrients once it's been applied, and therefore will, if you will, synergize the activity of synthetic fertilizer. The third component is a fungal material that also enhances and helps develop root growth and root stimulation that in turn improves water availability or water uptake, nutrient uptake, and therefore mitigates stress and other environmental conditions in a growing crop.
I can recall one of these large growers that, for instance, before applying the product, it was taking him 3 wells to irrigate his farm. And his farm's all on computers and they produce milk. So what they've been able to do after applying the product for approximately a period of 1 year at about 30% of their blend, they've been able to shut down one of their wells. Matter of fact, it was one of their wells that had a lot of water problems. So it's really increased help them maintain their production and increase their soil health.
The essentials of the addition of these microorganisms is that they're chosen for very specific reasons, not just their ability to improve nutrient availability or depress pathogens, is their interaction in the entire rhizosphere and the microflora and microbiota of the entire soil. So they have to be, number one, very, very competitive, but secondly, have to be very beneficial in that immediate root zone, the rhizosphere as we would call it at a microbiological level. Yet secondary is that they're so competitive that they will reduce, if you will, harmful microorganisms such as pathogens and even nematodes in some instances. So it will have an effect on the overall, what we term the microbiota or the ecosystem immediately adjacent to the root, the rhizosphere.
There has been a lot of disease control. For instance, decrease in Phytophthora, we've been able to see somewhere up to 40 to 50%. And also the nematode population, we've seen 40 to 50% depending on the area.
They are naturally occurring soil bacteria and fungi to start with. In fact, in the case of the mycorrhizae, the fossil record indicates that these species in one form or another have been around somewhere in the region of 400 million years. The basic formulation of the bacilli in the formation or the formulation is as a spore. These are bacillus, they're known as endospore forming bacteria. The fungi, the glomus, and the trichoderma species are individual components, if you will, dormant, yet with a very precise DNA package that's essential for the activity. One of the big benefits of having these propagules and spores is again, the efficiency of the delivery system. For example, not too distant past, some of these microbiological formulations were living bacilli and mycorrhizae and trichoderma and other fungal species that had to be refrigerated in order to preserve the living bugs. By taking advantage of the spore forming capability and this propagule forming capability of the fungi, allows us to combine these microbiological packages with a multitude of different materials. In other words, dormant packages that as soon as they hit the soil with moisture and temperature and so forth will be activated and become very quickly replications of what they were earlier. I think another key advantage and a very important point compared to many other materials is the homogeneity of the individual granule, in as much that 2,4,2 is represented in every single granule in the fertilizer, and also an equal distribution of the biological and humic compounds to ensure a very accurate delivery to the plant, number one, and number two, a very precise analysis in a final blend.
Biosphere Nutrition is a very unique product from mines throughout Guatemala and even into other parts of South America. So they all come from natural sources, and that's a plus when perhaps you're interested in maybe the organic side of it. However, we'll be using most of this product in conventional blending. It's the only product that I know that contains all of the secondary nutrients, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur, as well as up to 5 different micronutrients.
Historically, in dry blends, they've usually been a mixture of predominantly nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and the raw materials have been the same basic materials, either urea or ammonium nitrate with monoammonium or diammonium phosphates with potassium chloride. The ability to expand the agronomic suitability of a dry blend has been somewhat difficult over the years. The Biosphere Sigma materials now allow for a sound, homogeneous blend of secondary and micronutrient materials. In other words, sulfur, magnesium, and calcium, along with various micronutrients such as zinc, manganese, for example, with the biological package, allows us to expand the capability of that base dry blend. Not just the nutrient delivery system, if you will, but really the agronomic effectiveness to allow us to better prescribe or a better prescription blend for specific agronomic circumstances.
I'd like to back up a little bit and talk about a very unique part of this product, and that is the granulation system itself. This system is not only unique, but it is a system that incorporates agronomics into the granulation system, which is a wonderful, as a matter of fact, I think it's the heart and soul of the product and its performance.
The key efficiency with the Biosphere materials, in addition to the biologicals and so forth that are added to that, is essentially in the manufacturing process, in as much that the native minerals are very, very finely ground to a sub-micron, almost like a flour-like substance that is then reconstituted as a homogeneous granule So you have, in every granule has the same amount of calcium, magnesium, sulfur, micronutrients and so forth, plus additional humic acids and other additives that upon soil contact very rapidly disperses. And by having that original raw material as a very finely ground product, plus the humic substances and other additives in there, makes for what we call a very large reactive surface area. In other words, now we have, from an individual granule, massive exposure to that micro soil environment close to the root that will improve the availability, uptake, and reduce soil lockup and soil tie-up.
Soil health is something that we really want to try to talk about when we can. And this product uses a binding system that actually helps the soil and the microbiology in the soil.
What we've been able to see is a lot of improved soil health throughout different types of regions and geographies. For instance, in some of the high pH soils with a lot of problems with, we've been able to see a decrease in the pH over a period of about a year when the growers have been applying it about 30% to their dry blends. We've also seen a lot of decrease in soil diseases.
Modern science has shown us quite clearly that humic acid materials, in terms of an addition, on one hand we know that they're very active with plant membranes or cell membranes, so that the addition of humic acid can improve the uptake and conveyance of a nutrient once into the root, so you get better root uptake and movement within the plant. And secondly, will also improve the availability of materials such as phosphate. And there's a variety of research across the US through land grant and private institutes now that quite clearly shows the improved availability of soil nutrients existing in the soil, plus improved membrane permeability. Therefore, the combination of the two allows for improved nutrient uptake and biological activity within the soil. And again, that crucial root zone, this rhizosphere.
The plant root every nutrient has to go through this thing called a Casparian strip. It's got a barrier, and there are doors for N, P, and K, but there are other doors for organic compounds. And so why I think this increase in yield and increase in more kernels per head is you're opening up two doors through that barrier, and you enhance the nutrient uptake of all the nutrients.
The ability to mix the synthetic materials with the organic product, with the microbiological components, is essentially a very efficient way to garner the maximum efficiency from those synthetic blends. So in terms of a straight nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium blend, they are very soluble and plant available. But at a single application, some of those materials may be susceptible for example, leaching or tie-up of the phosphorus and the potassium by various soil components and soil chemistry. The ability to mix the biological materials essentially improves immediate plant availability of native minerals as well as those that have been applied. So, if you will, there's a synergy or a enhancement between both materials, which is why we find them as a very satisfactory and complementary blend of products for maximum agronomic efficiency of applied nutritionals. In terms of a synergy, what one means by that is that you will have, for example, a plant response to applied nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and you will also get a plant response to the secondary minerals, the calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and the micronutrients that would be in the Biosphere product, plus the biologicals. So in essence, you get instead of a 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, what we're talking about is a 1 + 1 + 1 = 6.
Well, another key factor is the assimilation of the nutrients, the plant, the uptake. We've seen a lot more uptake, and we've got some data that shows that we're able to enhance the uptake of the rest of the nutrients that we blend this product into.
Every time this system has worked, it's produced a bigger root system.
This is a new rail loadout our company, American Plant Food, has recently invested into. What we're able to do with that is any product allows us to move anywhere within the country by rail car. Within this facility, we're able to move this product by barge, vessel, outbound in a rail car or a truck, We can get anywhere within the lower 48, and we can get there fast and unlike any other company's able to do.
The idea behind what we're doing in this business model, it's not to be green. It's not grass-fed, it's not free range, not gluten-free, not any of these popular pop culture words these days. It's really about soil health and bringing it all together. We've identified a way we can really help North American farmers exceed their yield limits that they've previously seen with conventional programs. We want to be able to bring to you a product in a 50-pound sack, super sack, bulk load. For that matter, if you can take a barge, we'll get you a barge. But the idea is to bring it to you, incorporate it into your program that you sell to your retail and your grower customers.